Guys, you know what I love? Modern metal. You know what I don't love? Modern metal. Look, don't get me wrong, okay? I do love modern metal, and hence why I have a whole channel dedicated to talking about this style of music. But for someone who's been listening to this style of music for well over 20 years now, I know all the cliches, I know all the tropes, I know the evolution of this genre. And today, I just want to talk about the 10 things that bands need to stop doing for 2024. This is all subjective, and take my opinions with a grain of salt because I'm not in a band. I'm not a professional musician, but as someone with a business background who's been doing marketing for years now, before my YouTube channel, actually in the corporate world, helping businesses grow, and then starting my own thing from scratch, I have a background in business, and also as a music reactor, it's my job to promote what I think is the best in music and see the latest trends in modern metal, and I have seen a lot of patterns. All right, number 10 is stop trying to be the heaviest band ever. Stop with the vocal Olympics. It was cool for a while. North Shore to the Hellfire definitely like popularized it, right? A year after that, you know, it's still cool, but I think in 2024, it's gone played out. Especially me, I am so jaded to the whole heavy nonsense, and the vocal Olympics, although it's cool, and there's Alex Terrible now doing the gator sounds. So it's still fun, but in a way it comes like inauthentic when every band is just trying to outdo each other and trying to be heavy. And I think it's just gone so overplayed. And for 2024, I'm hoping that there's a little bit more creativity, because the whole disgusting, heavy, slow breakdown that ends for every song is just getting so overplayed. And I think people are looking for a little bit more creativity and a little bit more substance this year. All right, number 9 is super obvious if you follow the channel, because I complain about this all the time, but stop doing the verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like this pop song structure. You know, instead of a bridge, it's a breakdown for metalcore bands. It's just super played out. It's been played out for a while, and I'm well aware that it's the most accessible structure, and it can really help get your song on a lot of streams, or, you know, in front of the right audience for a more accessible demographic. But I think people are wanting just a little bit more creativity, especially when it comes to metal music. Metal music is not really the most radio-friendly music, so why does it need to always play to the radio-friendly stereotypes, right? And a perfect example is Sleep Token, with The Summoning surpassing 100 million plays on Spotify, and that song is not your typical structure, right? It's not a verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus. It's like a progressive metal song. Not the most accessible music to even begin with, so why are we trying to make radio-friendly music? Number 8 could be a spicy take, but it's not having a face to the band, not embracing the rock star look. Look, this is spicy because a lot of the bands that I look at with metalcore or deathcore, they just look like regular dudes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some of my favorite bands look like regular dudes too, but if you want to take your band to the next level, I do think it's important to have someone who's the face of the band, who does the interviews, who's the most charismatic in front of the camera, that steals the show, right? And it doesn't always happen where it's deliberately chosen that this person is the face of the band. Sometimes it just happens naturally, but we can look at big bands in the scene currently, like Spirit Box, where Courtney LaPlante is obviously the star of the band, right? But the band wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Mike. You know, we all know that, but on first glance, it's definitely Courtney. Another one is Noah Sebastian from Bad Omens, where girls are literally obsessing over this dude, where he has to delete his own social media. And then we can also look at Lauren Shore, right? Where Will is a new member, but it happened naturally, where he became the face of the band because he's so charismatic and fun in front of the camera, and he's so likable. But this doesn't always apply to every band, I'm well aware, because we can look at, I don't know, like Architects, right? And is Sam really the face of the band? Maybe it's Dan too a little bit, and before Josh left, was he a big member too? So it doesn't always imply, but I think it's important to have someone who's really distinguishable in the band to help sell the band's image a little bit more. And it can happen naturally, but it's something to consider. Unless they have lead singer syndrome, then watch out for that. But yeah. Number 7 is please experiment with other genres of music outside of metal. So I do think genre blending is the future of metal to make it more accessible too, but I just think it gives it so much more creativity and so much more diversity, because obviously the scene is so oversaturated with so many samey sounding bands, and that's because this metal band is influenced by this metal band, and that metal band is influenced by that metal band. And because of it, the sound is so oversaturated. And I love it when there's like maybe a guitarist that's influenced by a whole different genre, like maybe like Motown, for example, and brings in ideas of Motown music, but brings it into a metal format, and that could work. So it's bringing your other genres of music, which helps make the music feel more authentic, because if the members are actually playing to what they really enjoy, because a lot of metal musicians don't always listen to metal, then it can expand the genre into new, unique sounds and bring more diversity. Other people who don't enjoy metal might actually come into metal music and enjoy it for the different sounds that it has. So a weird example of this is actually Nirvana. So with Smells Like Teen Spirit, right? The drum beat is actually not a rock beat. It's actually inspired by disco. So Dave Grohl actually wrote a disco beat for that rock song, and it became one of the most famous songs of all time, right?
Dude, stop saying I'm a good drummer, because I'm the most basic fucking drummer. If you listen to Nevermind, the Nirvana record, I pulled so much stuff from the Gap Band and Cameo and Tony Thompson on every one of those songs. All that. That's wow. It's old disco. That's all it is. That's nice.
Number 6 is more collaborations outside of metal. So your network is your net worth, right? And when bands are collaborating and doing features with other members, right, it helps bridge that gap between fan bases, right? And you know, if you're a fan of this band, then you might be inclined to check out this band now, and it makes everything seem like a sense of community rather than a competition. And I think it's a lot of fanfare when we actually hear a lot of cool features and a lot of cool collaborations. And when it comes to outside of metal, it brings in that diversity, right, which I keep talking about, but it also just makes new sounds. It just makes things a little bit more creative. So in 2024, I would just like to see more collaborations. Number 5 is stop overproducing the music. So don't get me wrong, I love all the glossy production, a lot of fine tuning, a lot of detail and effects, layering, and just cool sounds. I love it, but at the same time, since so many bands are doing this overproduced sound where it almost sounds a little bit robotic, I think there's a want or a need for more raw sounding bands, a little bit more live sounding, especially when there's technology continues to evolve. I think people are striving for more authentic sounding music. Number 4, think outside the box with your music videos. Get weird, get creative, man. And please always have a music video or a visualizer if you're dropping a new song. No more lyric videos that are like 2010s for these deathcore bands with these crazy fonts flying by. That shit is tacky, okay? But when it comes to music videos, it doesn't always have to be a garage, a living room, a warehouse with these cool strobe lights in the background, these bands rocking out. That's a little bit played out, and there's nothing wrong with these kind of music videos, but if you want your band to stand out a little bit more, I think you have to think outside the box and get a creative concept going. And you don't have to have this like crazy budget in place too. Like look at Counterparts, for example, right? One of their music videos was just a shot of a cat. But that ended up being one of the best music videos of the year because the narrative is about a cat passing away. So it's really thinking hard about the visual aspect of the band, maybe having a story, maybe having just a cool visual, because I think there's an audience that is hungry for some creativity in the music video space. And if the band is just playing in front of the camera, you know, lip syncing in front of this cool backdrop, it works, but it doesn't have that staying power in the scene. Another example is Darko, right? Working with Norbert, and their music videos are absolutely batshit crazy. And it has really helped sell the identity of what Darko US is with a visual. Number 3 is bring back the riffs. Now this could be a hot take because a lot of people will say like, there's still so many riffs. What are you talking about? But I'm hearing a lot of chugs, a lot of similar patterns, a lot of similar ideas that are all born from every other band, but a distinguishable riff really stands out. And there's bands like Enterprise Earth, Unprocessed that are killing in the riff department. But I really feel like Bands are so focused on structures and hooks where the riffs almost take a back seat. And if there's a very distinguishable riff in a song, it can really help make the song's identity, right? We can look at so many popular songs over the years, and there's always that one riff that sometimes people know the song for its riff rather than the chorus, right? Number 2 is embrace social media marketing / work with content creators. And yes, I'm a little bit biased with this one, but as someone who's been making videos for a lot of bands, and then when I see a band not interact with the content that I'm producing in any way, right? And it's an upcoming band and yet there's no engagement, no shares or anything, it makes me less inclined to work with them. But then there's some bands who really appreciate what I do or many other content creators do, and we actually build this relationship where I enjoy your music, you enjoy what I do, and then we actually have this mutual understanding of working together, right? I just feel like it's a big missed opportunity in today's age for these bands to not work with content creators today. And not only that, but not embracing social media marketing, right? And I know a lot of older bands don't really embrace the whole social media marketing narrative, right? And they hire teams, but if you're a new upcoming band, since it's so convoluted and pretty much any veteran musician can actually make music and put it on the charts, like boy, what?
The secret formula will be mine soon enough. You'll all see.
It's so important to leverage social media and understand social media, learn how to use the tools to your advantage and create content.
Guys, it's time for deathcore.
And finally, at number 1 is never taking risks to expand your target audience. So what I mean by that is that if you're a band that's just producing the same kind of album every 2 years, right, and you're still appealing to the same target audience, the same demographic, then your band is never going to expand outside that niche genre of people, right? So if you're playing prog metalcore, which I love, and every album is just a little bit different, but it's still appealing to the prog metalcore audience, sure, you're going to bring in some more fans with each album, but it's not really going to expand the sound too much because you're going to cap it at a certain point unless the genre explodes. But prog metalcore is not a genre that has the accessibility to explode, in my opinion. So if you start diversifying the sound a little bit, maybe get a little bit poppy on certain songs here, or get a little bit deathcore lean over here, or get a little bit more shoegaze on this track, just try different ideas. You can cultivate a new fan base, expand the fan base a little bit so you're not capped at that same audience every 2-year cycle. All right, with this point, there's nuance. So I'm basically talking to the bands who really want to blow up and they're kind of plateauing and they're not really happy with their audience size right now. But I don't expect, some of my favorite bands or bands to really change their sound over the years just to appeal to a wider demographic. Again, I'm just talking to the bands who want to blow up and they feel like they're plateauing a bit. All right, those are the 10 things that I want bands to stop doing in 2024, and take these opinions with a grain of salt, okay? I just love discussing about this stuff because I love talking about business. I love seeing the trends and I want the scene to grow, and a lot of bands that I listen to are actually doing a lot of the things that I said in this list and they're still crushing it. So there's nuance in a lot of these points. I just love talking about this stuff, and again, I'm just here because I want the scene to grow. I'm just some Canadian dude with Timmy, so take all these opinions with a grain of salt, but I'm curious to know what you think bands need to stop doing in 2024, so comment down below, spice up my life. Guys, I'd love to know the discussion here. I feel like a lot of people will have some cool points. Some people might disagree with some points that I have here, but it's all up for discussion, all right? We're all in this to make metal music the most exciting genre of music, which it is, but even more exciting, right? So I'm going to end the video. But on that, thank you for tuning in. Until next time. Peace.